My Uncle Wade was at the county recorder's office at 9:05 a.m. with a forged deed and a handshake ready. He had a purchase agreement for $450,000 already signed. A buyer, a closing date, 30 days to deliver clear title. Margaret Caldwell had been at that same counter since 8 a.m. She had arrived first, filed first. 2 documents. A certified copy of the T-Main Family Irrevocable Trust, established 6 years ago and recorded in this very office, and a notice of lis pendens, a public flag on the title that means, this property is spoken for, and nothing moves without a court's permission. The clerk stamped both. Time stamped. Done. When Wade slid his quitclaim deed across the counter 65 minutes later, the clerk typed in the parcel number, looked at the screen, typed again, and stopped. "I can't record this, sir." Wade leaned forward. "Excuse me?" "The property title is registered under the T-Main Family Irrevocable Trust, recorded in 2020. There is also a lis pendens filed this morning." "That's impossible. My parents owned that property." "Sir, the deed was transferred to the trust 6 years ago. The chain of title is clear. This document does not align with the current ownership record." My father stepped up beside him. "There is no trust. Our parents never mentioned a trust." The clerk looked between them. "I'd advise you to speak with the trustee listed on the filing, a Margaret Caldwell." Wade's hand came down flat on the counter. His face went white. Margaret's name, the exact name on the business card they had found in my bag, was now a matter of public record. Permanent, unfalsifiable, already stamped. My father turned to Wade slowly. "You said this was straightforward?" I was at home eating cereal. 14 hours earlier, at midnight on my 18th birthday, in a video call with Margaret from my bedroom while my parents slept, I had signed a single document accepting my role as successor beneficiary of my grandparents' trust. The cabin. The savings. The investment portfolio. $2.1 million in total. All of it in a trust my grandfather had established with Margaret Caldwell 6 years before he died. All of it mine. All of it already beyond reach of anyone who might have other ideas. He had called her from the county recorder's parking lot at 9:22 a.m. "What did you do?" His voice was tight, trembling. "I accepted what Grandpa and Grandma left me," I said. "That's all. Let me take you back to the summer I was 12, to a fence, a lake, and a sentence my grandfather said that I didn't understand until the night before my birthday. My name is Iris Temain. I am 18 years old, and the cabin at Cedar Lake was never supposed to be mine in any way that my family would recognize. No announcement, no ceremony, no dramatic reveal. It was supposed to be quiet. A key in a door. A name on a deed. A trust that had been sitting recorded at the county office for 6 years, waiting for me to be old enough to receive it. My grandfather Harold picked me up in his truck the summer I turned 12 and drove 40 minutes to Cedar Lake without explaining why. The cabin sat a short walk from the water, wrapped in white pines so tall they blocked the afternoon sun. One side of the porch was soft with weather. The screen door struggled to latch. The air smelled of wood smoke, old books, and something sweet I couldn't identify for years. I know now it was the cedar itself, soaked through with 50 years of the same family's summers. "Grab the other end," he said, lifting a section of fence railing. We spent the morning replacing 3 sections of rotted posts along the southern perimeter. He was unhurried about everything, showing me how to press my thumb into the wood grain to test for weakness, patient in the way of someone who has stopped caring about the clock. Inside, my grandmother Vivian had iced tea and sandwiches waiting on the kitchen table Harold had built himself the year they married. She was reading on the porch. She patted the chair beside her. We sat without speaking until the light turned gold over the water. "This cabin stays in the family," my grandfather said that evening, wiping sawdust from his hands. "But family isn't always blood, Iris. Family is whoever shows up." I was 12. I thought he was being poetic. He wasn't. I came back every weekend that summer. I learned where the water heater leaked, which window stuck, how to bleed the radiator. In October, my grandmother showed me how she organized the bookshelves by color. Warmer that way, she said, and she was right. My grandfather walked me along the property line and showed me the iron stakes he'd driven into the ground himself, their tops flush with the pine duff. I didn't know he was already meeting with Margaret Caldwell about this land. About me. I didn't know the deed to the cabin would be recorded under a trust name by the following spring. Back in Ridgemont, the house felt different in the specific way of a place where the temperature is always fine, but never warm. My father, Greg, ran a building supply business from the garage. My sister, Kelsey, 2 years younger, had the larger bedroom, freshly painted lavender that spring, desk lamp that cost more than my book collection. My room still had the carpet left by the previous owners. I didn't mention it. At dinner one night, my father said, "Dad's place is just sitting there, losing value. Property taxes alone are significant. We should sell it and reinvest." My mother said, "That makes sense." "Grandpa said the cabin stays in the family," I said. Greg laughed, not cruelly, but worse, dismissively. "You were 12, Iris." He was being nice. The conversation moved on to Kelsey's debate trophy, regional finalist. Denise had already framed the certificate. 2 weeks earlier, I had won the district science fair. The ribbon was still in my backpack. After dinner, I cleared the plates. On the counter, partially hidden under a grocery list, was a glossy flyer. Ridgeline Development, lakefront lots, premium prices now acquiring. A handwritten phone number in the margin. Not my father's handwriting. I put the flyer back exactly where I'd found it and went upstairs. My grandfather died 2 years later. I was 14. The funeral was on a Tuesday. Gray sky, wet grass, folding chairs threatening to sink into the lawn. I sat in the second row holding his handkerchief, blue plaid, fraying at the edges, still faintly smelling of pine. At the reception, I watched my father, Greg, and his brother, Wade, standing near the dessert table, not eating, talking quietly, a folder under Wade's arm. I heard Wade say clearly, "We should move on this before probate gets complicated." They were discussing the cabin. At the funeral. I was 14. I said nothing. I didn't yet know that my grandfather had already made specific provisions for precisely this conversation. 2 years later, Grandma Vivian got sick in March and was gone by June. The last time I visited, she took my hand with a grip stronger than I expected and said, "The cabin is yours, Iris. Don't let them take it. Promise me." "I promise, Grandma." She squeezed once and closed her eyes. The evening after her funeral, Greg sat at the kitchen table and said to Denise, "Now we can finally sort out the property." He said it with the specific relief of a man who has been waiting for something difficult to be over. That same night, Wade called. I heard Greg in the garage, pacing. "Yeah, no, I agree. Let's get it moving." His voice was lighter than it had been in weeks. I stood in the hallway holding a glass of water and understood something that settled in my chest like cold stone. Their grief was a transaction. My grandmother's passing was not a loss to them, but an opening. I didn't cry that night. I made a different kind of decision, though I hadn't yet figured out exactly how. Between 16 and nearly 18, the cabin became my version of a quiet refusal. Every Saturday morning, I drove out in the used Honda I'd bought with babysitting money and spent the morning doing the things my grandfather had taught me. Checking the porch, replacing the weather stripping on the back door, sweeping pine needles off the roof. Small maintenance, the kind that preserves things. At home, the language shifted. The cabin stopped being Grandpa's place and became the family property. Greg started saying it as if it had always been true. Uncle Wade began appearing more often, every other Sunday, sometimes with manila folders, sometimes with a laptop open to real estate listings. I tried to say something once. "What about what Grandma wanted?" Denise set her fork down with the patient tone she used to correct Kelsey's homework. "Your grandmother was emotional at the end, sweetheart. This is business." Business. That was the new word for everything that had once been love. By 17, Greg's approach became direct. "When you turn 18, we'll figure this out as a family." The way he said family made clear he meant his version of the word, which required my signature and not my opinion. On a late November afternoon, I was alone at the cabin, clearing out the hall closet. Behind a stack of old quilts, I found a sealed envelope in my grandmother's handwriting. My name on the front. Inside, a single business card. Margaret Caldwell, attorney at law. And beneath her name, in small print, to Maine Family Trust. My hands weren't shaking from fear. They were shaking from recognition. My grandmother knew I would be the one cleaning out the closets. Not Greg, not Wade, not Denise. Me. I slipped the card into my wallet. I didn't call. Not yet. 3 months before my 18th birthday, Margaret Caldwell called me on a Thursday evening in February while I was doing calculus homework. Unfamiliar number, local area code. Her voice was steady, prepared, the voice of someone who has thought carefully about her opening sentence. "Iris, this is Margaret Caldwell. I was your grandparents' attorney. I need to speak with you before your birthday. There are things you need to know, and we are running out of time." I met her the following Saturday alone. Her office was small, organized, smelled of old paper and coffee. She sat across from me and opened a folder. "Your grandparents retained me 6 years ago. They established an irrevocable trust, the cabin, a savings account, and an investment portfolio. Total value approximately $2.1 million, all held in the trust. You are the sole beneficiary." The room tilted slightly. "They transferred these assets while they were still alive," she explained. "Legally, they never became part of their probate estate. It cannot go through probate. Your father and uncle have no claim." She slid a document across the desk. My name on the second line. "The deed for the cabin was recorded under the trust's name at the county recorder's office 6 years ago. Your father is unaware of this." She paused. "Your grandfather stated," I'm quoting him directly, "my sons will sell that cabin before the funeral flowers wilt." Silence. "There's one more thing," she said. "Someone has been making inquiries at the county recorder's office about the cabin's title within the past month." After that meeting, I began paying a different kind of attention. The following Sunday, Wade came for dinner. Afterward, he and Greg went to the garage. The door was slightly open, not wide enough to see, enough to hear. Wade's voice carried. "I've already signed the purchase agreement with Ridgeline for $450,000. We need the title clear before closing." Greg: "How do we get it clear?" Wade: "Quitclaim deed. Dad's gone. Mom's gone. We're the legal heirs. We quitclaim it to ourselves, record it, then sell. Is that legal? Standard real estate transfer between heirs. Nobody will question it." A pause. Then Greg, quieter: "What about Iris?" My chest went cold. Wade's answer came fast, the answer of someone who had rehearsed it. "She's 17, Greg. She can't do anything, and by the time she's 18, the sale will be finalized. She'll be upset. She'll get over it. We'll give her $50,000 for college. She should be grateful." I stepped back from the garage door. My hands were cold. Wade had already signed a purchase agreement, $450,000, for a cabin he did not own, in a trust he didn't know existed. With a closing date 30 days after he filed a deed, he had no right to file. That night, I texted Margaret 2 words: "They're accelerating." Her reply came in 3 minutes. I anticipated that. "Come Saturday, we'll prepare everything." Saturday, at Margaret's office. She laid out the timeline on a legal pad, drawing lines between dates like a field map. "The cabin's title is already vested in the trust," she said. "If Wade files a quitclaim deed, the county recorder should reject it. The chain of title won't align. But if he adds supplementary documentation, an affidavit of heirship perhaps, he could create what's called a cloud on title. It wouldn't give him ownership, but it could tie up the property in litigation for over a year. So, I have to act first." "You have to act on time." She tapped the calendar. The moment you turn 18, you become a legal adult. You can formally accept the role of successor beneficiary. Once you sign, I will file a lis pendens at the county recorder's office first thing the following morning. That freezes the title. Nothing can be recorded against it while it's active. What do I need to do? Show up and sign one document? I'll handle everything else. I drove home. Greg was in the kitchen, cheerful. Good news, kiddo. I'm throwing you a birthday party. The whole family, Saturday night. It's a big one. 18. He smiled. Denise echoed him. Even Kelsey clapped her hands. I smiled with all of them. My father was planning my birthday party. My uncle was planning to sell my grandmother's cabin. And I sat at the kitchen table smiling, because in 9 days, I was going to let them believe everything was going exactly the way they intended. 5 days before my birthday, Denise sat beside me on the couch with her "Let's talk like adults" voice. Soft, practiced, slightly rehearsed. The cabin needs maintenance, taxes, insurance, repairs. Your father's business has been struggling. If we sold it, we could pay off our debts and set up a college fund for you and Kelsey. Grandma wanted me to keep it, I said. A flash of impatience smoothed over quickly. Your grandmother was sentimental at the end, Iris. Sentiment doesn't pay property taxes. Greg came in at exactly that moment. I wondered if they'd choreographed it. I've already spoken with a buyer, he said. Good price. Wade knows them. What company? A pause. Ridgeline something. They're reputable. I didn't push. I'll think about it, I said. Greg patted my shoulder. That's my girl. He walked away satisfied, as if he had just closed a deal. 3 days before my birthday, Uncle Wade ambushed me in the driveway when I came home from grocery shopping. Leaning against his car, casual, wide smile. The body language of a man who has made a calculation and has already moved on to the closing paperwork. The land alone is worth $450, he said. I can get us a deal with a buyer I trust. Fast close, clean paperwork. What do I get? $50,000 cash for college. He said it like a gift. $50,000 out of $450,000. He smiled at me. You're 18, Iris. Most kids would jump at that. Whose name is on the deed, Uncle Wade? The smile flickered. A micro adjustment, there and gone. Your grandparents? But they're gone now. It passes to your dad and me as next of kin. That's not how it works. He stood, brushed off his jeans. Don't overthink this. Opportunities don't wait. He drove away and was on his phone before he reached the end of the street. That night, they're accelerating. Margaret, stay the course. 3 more days. The night before my birthday, I drove to the cabin alone. The road was quiet. Cedar Lake lay flat and dark under a half moon, the pines along the bank like cutouts against the sky. I parked in the gravel patch my grandfather had leveled himself and walked up the porch steps. The second one still creaked. I sat in the chair beside the one that had been his. I checked my email. Margaret had sent the complete document package: acceptance of successor beneficiary form, beneficiary designation confirmation, 1-page trust summary. Everything formatted, tabbed, ready. My grandfather used to sit right here and say, "Patience isn't weakness, Iris. It's timing." I always assumed he meant fishing. I cried. Not a collapse, a quiet overflow I let happen. I cried because I wished things were different. Because I wished my father was the kind of man who would take me fishing at this lake instead of calculating its value per acre. Because I wished I didn't have to sign a legal document at midnight to protect myself from the people who were supposed to protect me. But wishes don't hold up in court. Trust documents do. I wiped my face, locked the door, drove home, set my alarm for 11:45 p.m., 11:50 p.m. Bedroom door closed. House silent. Greg and Denise asleep. Kelsey's light out since 10. I opened my laptop. Margaret appeared on video call from her home office, reading glasses on, desk lamp lit. Ready? Ready? At midnight, she walked me through the single-page acceptance form. I signed. From that moment, all decisions about the trust's assets ran through me and Margaret as co-trustees. "First thing tomorrow at 8, she said. "I'll be at the county recorder's office. Once the Lis pendens is recorded, no one can sell, transfer, or encumber the title while it remains active." What if they've already filed something? Then whatever they filed will be flagged. Any conflicting document will be rejected. The clock read 12:03 a.m. I was 18. I was the legal beneficiary of the T-Main Family Irrevocable Trust. And in the garage, my uncle's quitclaim deed was already a nullity. He would find out in approximately 9 hours. What I didn't know until later, pieced together from what the county clerk told Margaret and from conversations with Greg that came much later, was what Wade was doing while I was signing my acceptance form upstairs. He was at his kitchen table printing a quitclaim deed. He called Greg at 11:30 p.m. "Everything's ready. We submit at 9. Recorders opens at 8, but I want Iris occupied with birthday stuff first." Greg: "Wade, are you sure about this?" Wade, grimly: "Greg, they're gone. We're next of kin. It's simple." It was the opposite of simple. It was forgery wearing the language of routine real estate. And on another window of his laptop, the Ridgeline Development Purchase Agreement. $450,000. Closing in 30 days from the recording of the quitclaim deed. Failure to deliver clear title. $45,000 penalty plus damages. He had signed this 2 months earlier, before doing a title search, before verifying what the deed actually showed, before checking whether anyone had made other arrangements. He had simply assumed ownership and presumed no one had planned ahead. He had wagered nearly $500,000 on a property that wasn't his. He would find this out at 9:05 a.m. My birthday party started at 4 p.m. About 20 people, neighbors, friends of my parents from church, 2 of Greg's former business contacts, the family of Kelsey's best friend, and Nora Beckett, who had lived next door to the cabin for 40 years and had been my grandmother's closest friend. She sat near the window with a glass of lemonade, watching everything with the specific attention of someone who knows exactly what room she is in. Balloons, a silver Happy 18th banner. Sheet cake from the bakery on Main Street. I smiled and said thank you for the journal, the gift card, the picture frame. In my jacket pocket, neatly folded, was the signed acceptance form from the night before. I didn't touch it. It had already done its work. Greg tapped his glass near the cake table. The room went quiet. "I just want to say that Iris is officially an adult today. Denise and I are so proud of her." He paused, looked around the room. "And as a family, we have some exciting plans for the future." He looked at me. "Right, Iris?" Every face in the room turned. "Thank you, Dad," I said, nothing more. Greg waited a beat, then laughed and raised his glass. The room followed. In the corner of my eye, I could see Wade near the front door, both thumbs moving on his phone. Nora caught my arm as I passed the window. She leaned in, voice low, lavender hand cream, the smell of someone who has been tending a garden for decades. "Your grandmother would want you to know. I watched your uncle at the cabin last week with 2 men in suits. They were measuring the property boundaries." Wade had already brought buyers to view a property he did not own. That was the level of his certainty. After the cake, Greg stood again. Voice fuller this time, the voice of a man who has been waiting for an audience. "Before we wrap up, I want to share something. Our family has been going through a difficult stretch financially. Some of you know about the trouble with the store." Sympathetic sounds from the room. "But Harold and Vivian left us something valuable, the cabin at Cedar Lake. And as a family, we've made the decision to sell it to secure everyone's future. We've made the decision." The words arrived like cold water. He looked directly at me. "Iris understands. She knows this is what's best for all of us, doesn't she, sweetheart?" The room went quiet. 20 people. Neighbors who had known me since I was small. Nora with her lemonade. Kelsey half hidden behind the sofa. My mother adding with a bright smile, "It's what responsible families do." We make sacrifices for each other. I set my fork on my plate. The small clink was the only sound. I never agreed to sell the cabin, Dad. Greg's smile held, but the muscles around his jaw tightened. She's joking. Birthday jitters. I'm not joking. Wade moved from the doorway. Iris, this isn't the time or place. I picked up my glass of water, took a slow sip, set it down. You're right, Uncle Wade. This isn't the time. I looked at him directly. The time is 8 o'clock tomorrow morning. Silence. Wade's phone vibrated in his pocket. He didn't check it. No one in the room moved. Guests began leaving within minutes. The polite, hurried departures of people who sense a storm building inside someone else's house. Within 30 minutes, the room held only family, Nora, and 2 neighbors, uncertain whether to stay. Denise waited until the door closed behind the last unfamiliar face, before she turned to me in the kitchen, voice controlled, but pitched just high enough. Do you have any idea what your father is going through? She stepped closer. He could lose this house. The house you sleep in every night. And you're holding on to a cabin you visit on weekends. I visit every weekend, Mom. That's beside the point. She pressed her palms flat on the counter. We are a family. Families make decisions together. If you really loved this family, you wouldn't need a lawyer telling you what to do. The room went still. How do you know about a lawyer? I asked. Denise didn't flinch. Wade found the business card in your bag last week. Margaret Caldwell. Who is she? A cold lurch, not fear. The realization that they had been going through my belongings looking for anything they could use. Before I could answer, Nora Beckett's voice came from the kitchen doorway. Even, clear. That young woman has every right to consult with legal counsel, Denise. Vivian would have fully supported that. Denise turned. This is a private family matter. Nora didn't move. Vivian was my friend for 40 years. I think I understand her wishes. The silence between them was the kind that could break glass. Nora left. The neighbors slipped out. Now 5, Greg, Denise, Wade, Kelsey, me. Greg closed the kitchen door. The overhead fluorescent hummed. He sat down, hands clasped on the table, the posture of a man laying down terms. Here is exactly what's going to happen, Iris. Tomorrow morning, Wade and I go to the county office. We file the paperwork. The cabin is sold. You get your share and we move forward as a family. What's my share? Silence. Wade from the doorway. Don't complicate this. I looked at my father. And if I say no? Greg's jaw. Then you're on your own. No help with college. You won't be living under this roof. The faucet dripped once. You're threatening to throw me out on my 18th birthday. I'm asking you to be part of this family. I pushed back from the table and stood. I am part of this family, Dad, I said. I'm the part that keeps promises. I walked past Wade, past Kelsey sitting on the stairs with her knees to her chest, and went upstairs. Closed my door, sat on the edge of the bed, breathed. Greg's deadline was 9 a.m. at the county recorder's office. He didn't know Margaret's deadline was 8 a.m. The county recorder's office opens. Fluorescent lights flicker on. A clerk in a blue cardigan unlocks the front counter. Margaret Caldwell is the first person through the door. Gray blazer, leather portfolio. She approaches the counter and presents 2 documents, a certified copy of the T-Main Family Irrevocable Trust and a notice of Ellis Pendens. The clerk reviews the paperwork, verifies the existing title records, and stamps both documents. Recorded, time-stamped, done. 8:14 a.m. Margaret calls me. It's recorded. The Ellis Pendens is on file. Whatever they try to submit will be rejected on chain of title discrepancy. I'm at the kitchen table with cereal. Greg is upstairs getting dressed. Denise is making coffee. The sounds of a normal morning. Water running, a closet door, the click of a belt buckle. 8:30 a.m. Greg and Wade come downstairs together. Greg in a button-down, the same one he wore to bank meetings before the store collapsed. Wade with the folder under his arm, always the same folder. Back by lunchtime, Greg says, reaching for his keys. I look up from my bowl. Good luck, I say. Greg pauses in the doorway, something in my tone. He looks at me for a moment, then turns and leaves. I rinse my bowl, dry it, put it in the cabinet. I wait. 9:05 a.m. Wade slides the quitclaim deed across the counter with a confident nod. Greg stands behind him, hands in his pockets, surveying the room like a man who expects a 10-minute transaction. The clerk takes the document, enters the parcel number, reads the screen, types again, stops. I can't record this, sir. What followed you already know. My father called from the parking lot at 9:22. The call I described at the beginning of this story. 3 sprinkler rotations of silence before he spoke again. We'll contest this. You can try, but the trust is irrevocable. That means not even I can dissolve it. There is nothing to undo. You don't know what you're talking about. I do, Dad. I've had 3 months to learn. He hung up. No goodbye. Just a click and dead air. I put the phone on the porch railing. My hands were shaking. Not from anger, not from fear, but from the weight of what I had just said to my own father. From the specific grief of understanding that the man who taught me to ride a bicycle when I was 6 years old is the same man who just tried to sell my grandmother's home out from under me. I sat on the porch until the shaking stopped. It took a while. Carter Briggs from Ridgeline Development called 40 minutes later. Brisk, professional, already ahead of himself. We have a purchase agreement with Wade to Maine for the Cedar Lake property. He guaranteed clear title. We've just been informed there's a lice pendens on the parcel. That's correct? Can you explain? My uncle does not own that property. He never has. The cabin and land have been held in an irrevocable trust since 2020. I am the sole beneficiary. Papers shifting on his end. He represented himself as the heir. I understand, but representation doesn't confer ownership. Another pause. Is there any possibility of a direct sale from the trust? The property is not for sale. His voice hardened slightly. Then we'll be pursuing our legal remedies against Mr. Temain. I gave him Margaret's number. Within the hour, Ridgeline's legal team confirmed everything with Margaret. The trust was valid. Wade had had no authority. The purchase agreement had been executed on the basis of a material misrepresentation of ownership. Ridgeline moved fast. Breach of contract, misrepresentation of title, $45,000 in penalties plus damages. That afternoon, Margaret called with one more thing. Her voice was careful. Iris. The quitclaim deed Wade attempted to file included a notary stamp. I had the recorder's office pull a copy before they rejected it. The stamp doesn't correspond to any registered notary in this county. I closed my eyes. That's a felony, isn't it? Yes, she said. In this state? Yes. My uncle hadn't just tried to steal my cabin. He had committed a crime doing it. Greg came home at 2 p.m. He moved through the front door like a man carrying something invisible and very heavy. Denise was in the kitchen, arms crossed, face red from what looked like an hour of tears. I was at the dining table. I didn't get up. Greg sat across from me. He stared at the table for a long time. I'm going to lose this house, he said, flat, empty. The bank wants $180,000. The store is gone. The cabin was supposed to be our way out. I know you're in trouble, Dad. I'm sorry about the business. Then help us. The cabin was never your way out. It was a gift from Grandpa and Grandma. To me. A gift? He almost laughed. For what? You're 18. It's not about what I need. It's about what they intended. Denise from the doorway. They weren't thinking clearly at the end. They were thinking clearly enough to hire a lawyer 6 years before they died. Greg slammed his palm on the table. I will contest the trust. My phone was face up on the table. I had called Margaret before Greg came in and left the line open. Not a trap, just efficiency. Margaret's voice came through. Mr. Temain, Contesting an irrevocable trust established 6 years before the grantor's deaths, with documented capacity and witnessed intent, will cost more in legal fees than the property's value. I strongly advise against it. The kitchen was completely quiet. Greg looked at me. Really looked. And for the first time, I saw something in his face I had never seen before. Not anger. Recognition. 2 hours later, Wade called. Greg answered in the living room. I was in the hallway, close enough to hear everything through the thin wall. Wade, stripped bare. Ridgeline is suing me. $45,000 plus damages. They're saying I committed fraud. Greg, colder than I had ever heard him. Did you? I thought we owned it. Wade, you are a real estate agent. You run title searches for a living. How did you not check? I assumed. You assumed, and now I have nothing because you assumed. A long silence. Then Greg, quiet. You forged a notary stamp. I just found a stamp. Wade. That is forgery. You know that's forgery. Heavy breathing. I need a lawyer. So do I. Another pause. Don't call this house again until you've spoken with one. The couch springs creaked as Greg sat down. I went upstairs. Kelsey's door was open. She was on her bed, headphones around her neck, eyes wide. Is Uncle Wade in trouble? Yes. Is Dad? I sat on the edge of her bed. Dad made bad choices. Uncle Wade made worse ones. She nodded slowly, processing in the way 15-year-olds do. Not getting every detail, but getting enough. The weeks that followed moved with the logic of dominoes. Ridgeline Development's civil lawsuit named Wade for breach of contract, misrepresentation of title, $45,000 penalty plus $60,000 in additional damages. Served by certified mail on a Tuesday. Wade signed for it himself. The county district attorney's office received a referral from the recorder's office regarding the forged notary stamp. An investigator was assigned. Wade's real estate license was suspended pending the outcome of the investigation, which eliminated his income. Word traveled. Court filings are public records. Ridgeline's lawsuit named the Cedar Lake parcel number. The neighbors along the lake read the local paper. By the second week, it had reached the church parking lot, the diner, the checkout line at Hanson's Market. I said nothing. I didn't need to. Wade called me once. Iris, please, if you ask your lawyer to withdraw the Ellis pendants, I might be able to negotiate the penalty down. The Ellis pendants protects my property. It stays. Your grandparents would be ashamed of you. I let it sit for a moment, then quietly. My grandparents are the ones who set this up, Uncle Wade. They made this choice. They chose me. I don't think shame is what they'd be feeling. He hung up. I looked at the framed photograph on my desk. My grandfather and me, the summer I was 12, standing beside the fence we'd repaired together. I left it exactly where it was. Greg never contested the trust. Margaret had been right. The costs would have exceeded the property's value, and the case was unwinnable. Instead, he did what he should have done 2 years earlier. Sold the building supply business at a loss, enough to arrange a repayment plan with the bank. The house survived, barely. Their savings were gone. Denise went back to work for the first time in a decade, a position at a pharmacy on Lincoln Avenue. She didn't elaborate on why. The community already knew the shape of the story. Margaret called in late spring with final updates. The Les pendants could be withdrawn, no remaining threat to the title. Wade had settled with Ridgeline, paying the $45,000 penalty through a personal loan. The DA's office was still reviewing the notary stamp matter. He faced a potential felony charge, indefinite license suspension, possible reinstatement only after the criminal referral was resolved. I absorbed all of it, not triumph. Exhaustion. The specific kind that follows a long illness. Not sick anymore, but not fully recovered either. Then she said, "There's one more thing in the trust documentation. Your grandparents established a separate education fund, $50,000, earmarked for your college expenses. It's been accruing interest for 6 years. Current balance, $58,000, $400. My eyes stung. $50,000. The exact amount Greg had offered as my portion of the sale. The exact amount Wade had called a bribe. My grandparents had already set it aside, quietly, without telling anyone. "Iris, are you still there?" "Yes," I said. "I'm here." "Your grandparents would be very proud." "I just kept a promise," I said. I enrolled at Ridgemont Community College that week. Environmental science, minor in forestry. Campus 20 minutes from the cabin, closer than my parents' house. I filled out the housing forms and listed the cabin's address as my residence for the first time. It felt like returning home, because it was. I asked Greg and Denise to meet me at the coffee shop on Birch Street. Neutral ground, public, quiet. They arrived together. Greg in a flannel shirt I recognized. It had been my grandfather's. Denise with her purse held tight against her side, the way she holds it when she's anxious. We ordered coffee. I waited until the cups were on the table. "I love you," I said, looking at both of them. "Both of you. I need you to understand that, because what I'm going to say might not feel like it." Denise's jaw tightened, but she nodded. "The cabin is not for sale. Not now, not ever. I won't be made to feel guilty for keeping a promise I made to Grandma. A promise she gave to me because she doubted anyone else would keep it." Greg stared into his coffee. "I'm not cutting you out of my life. But if we're going to have a relationship, it has to be based on respect. Not on what I can provide financially. Not on guilt. Not on the idea that I owe you something simply because you're my parents." Denise started. "We only wanted what was best." "Then start by being honest about what happened. You tried to sell property that wasn't yours. You threatened to evict me. You went through my bag." She closed her mouth. Greg, when he finally spoke, his voice was rough. "I don't know how to fix this." "You don't have to fix it today." I stood and left enough for all 3 coffees. "I'll call Sunday." One small nod from him. I walked out into the light. It was the most I could hope for right now. It was enough. Kelsey showed up at the cabin on a Sunday in May with a pizza box and the oversized hoodie she'd owned since 8th grade. "Brought lunch. Hope you like pepperoni." "Always." We sat on the porch with paper plates, the pizza box between us. The lake was still. A heron stood in the shallows near the dock, completely motionless, watching what moved below the surface. Kelsey ate slowly. "I didn't know," she said finally. "Mom and Dad never told me." "I know." A pause, then small. "Was I part of the problem?" I looked at her. 15 years old, narrow-shouldered, still becoming who she'd be. She hadn't been designated the favorite. She'd just been the one the attention went to, without knowing it was taken from elsewhere. "You were a child, Kels. We both were." She nodded, detached a piece of cheese from her slice, and set it on the edge of her plate. "It's beautiful here," she said, looking at the water. "Grandma said that every single time she sat in that chair." She glanced at the empty chair beside mine. Grandpa's armrests sanded smooth. "Can I visit?" "Anytime." She leaned her head against my shoulder for a moment, then sat up and took another bite. We didn't talk about the trust or the lawsuit or the forged deed. We talked about her school project, the heron, whether the dock needed new planks before summer. The cabin had done more than protect an asset. It had opened a door. In a drawer beside the window, I found the envelope on one of my first mornings there alone. My name in my grandfather's handwriting. Margaret had told me it would be there, left for after everything was resolved. I opened it carefully. One page, blue ink, his handwriting looser toward the end, the way it always got when he was tired. He wrote that he had known what his sons would do. He said he felt no anger toward them. Greg was his son, and he loved him. But Greg had never learned the difference between what something is worth and what something is valuable. He said he hadn't chosen me because I was perfect. He chose me because I was the one who asked about the roof before asking about the price. The final line? Take care of it. It took care of you first. I refolded the letter and sat on the porch for a long time. Cedar Lake lay quiet in the morning. The pines held still. A loon called twice from the water. 2 long notes, then silence. I didn't win. There is no winning when the people who hurt you are the people who were supposed to love you. You don't get a prize for surviving what should never have happened. But I kept a promise. And for the first time in my life, I am standing on ground that is unequivocally mine. Not by conquest, but because 2 people loved me enough to build the foundation before I knew I would need it. They couldn't change who my father was. They couldn't fix Greg's desperation, or Wade's greed, or my mother's fear. But they made sure that when the moment came, I had somewhere to stand. Literally. My grandfather used to say, patience isn't weakness, it's timing. I always thought he was talking about fishing. He wasn't talking about fishing at all.